I'd like to call to order the Iredell County Board of Commissioners 4 o'clock pre-agenda meeting for Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. At this time, I'd like to ask County Manager, do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. We do have one adjustment, and that's the removal of item 8.5 under administrative matters. We'll bring that back at the next meeting in December.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. We do not have any special recognitions and awards, and we also do not have any appointments before the board tonight at the 6th, but we do have 4 public hearings tonight at the 6 o'clock meeting. And I also like to note that Commissioner Stroud has called in. He's under the weather, so he'll be participating by phone. So I'll turn it over to the county manager to go over our public hearings.
Absolutely, thank you. Mr. Todd is here to give you a briefing on these public hearings. The first one is a rezoning request to rezone 1.98 acres along Island Ford Road.
Yes, so this first one, planning board voted unanimously to recommend it. It matches the plan, and to date, there's been no opposition expressed. Any questions on that one?
Any questions? We're good.
Okay.
The second one, just over 2 acres, down off Highway 150. Currently, there's a residential house that's been used in that capacity for a number of years. With the location adjacent to some commercial uses and commercial directly across the road, they're requesting to rezone it to a commercial district. And as well, planning board voted unanimously to recommend this one. It does not meet the plan, but we're recommending to change the plan to offer a transition between the commercial and the residential area. There was one neighbor that showed up with questions about the buffer requirements. His questions may have been answered at planning board, so I don't know if that continues to this meeting or not. There would be limits on impervious that would help. I think some of those concerns of the whole property being developed, it wouldn't be developed because of those impervious restrictions. And I'd be happy to answer any questions on that one as well.
I think everybody's good.
That was simple.
The third rezoning is here in Statesville off Martin Lane. And planning board also recommended unanimously to support this one. It does match the plan. Has some commercial designation from the city adjacent to it as well as from the county. And again, had no opposition on this one either.
They got anything? We're good.
The fourth item we have is the text amendment. At the last meeting, we did the call for the public hearing. So I went over some of these items. I'm glad to, if the need is there for me to go almost line by line, I can. I can also just hit on the high points during the public hearing. But a lot of these are to create some flexibility, to create some consistency, clarification with the code, removing some tables that we've had frustration with over the years. And while we're doing this, I'll say there's 2 different state changes that we're also adding that had to do with the decommissioning of solar facilities, making that change to meet the state law on that, as well as the requirement on, currently our code had stipulations on when you could resubmit a rezoning based off different denial types or if it's withdrawn. And the state did change that to where you cannot at a local level dictate a waiting period, so we're removing that out of the code with this current set of text amendments.
What would it take to put back in our code rezoning requirement that people submit a plan? I talked to Lisa after the last meeting. I think a lot of the problems we've had lately is the ambiguousness of what's going to go at these rezonings if we rezoned them. What would we have to do if the board chose to put that requirement back in as it used to be? Could we do that at this meeting, or is that a later public hearing?
That would need to go through the process with the planning board as part of the text amendment. But just to clarify for Matthew, what we were talking about was the site plan requirement that used to be with the conditional rezoning, and then that the commissioners had removed that, and it was optional to provide the site plan. And so he's talking about putting that back in.
That would solve some of our problems we've had, is at least then people would have to submit a plan of what they plan on putting there if we were to be rezoning it, right?
It would have the site plan showing where the buffers would be, where the buildings would be, and the layout requirements.
They're not necessarily
Necessarily what they're going to put there.
Well, the zoning would have what the potential uses are.
Uses, right. But I'm saying it would have more information, I think, than what we require now.
I think that it would have more information in that you would know which way the buildings are oriented, you would know where the driveways are going to be located, things like that.
But the one thing I would say, I mean, we did intentionally, this board gave us direction to intentionally take that out, but it can still be required as part of a conditional process. I mean, it says that the planning board may ask for it, commissioners may ask for it. So if there's a case where there is concern and you want to know that specifics, I mean, it could become a condition. It would have to be tabled, I guess, to give them time to draw up a site plan. But it's still, and of course they have to agree to it. But my concern is if we flip it, there's a specific reason we moved away from it. That was because we had complaints that people don't know what they want to do with it. They're
Right.
trying to market it. They need the flexibility. So it just, I mean, I don't know that there's a perfect answer out there, but you could still, under the current code, you could still require a site plan if.
But only in conditional,
In conditional.
not a straight rezoning.
Which even, I mean, you couldn't do a text amendment to require it with a straight rezoning.
You couldn't either, okay.
Well,
That
not
was
for
my
straight, that's
question.
why I said the condition.
Well, that was my question. I wanted to see if we could ask for more under a straight rezoning.
No.
Okay,
Because you need to consider everything that's possible.
right,
It
okay.
actually works better now because there's a lot of them that we don't need to worry about at all, and we'd be asking too much for every one of them, so.
Does that create, I mean, we took it out, I know why we took it out, I just wondered if it would help to put it back in, but if it's conditional, we can still require it ourselves or the, you know,
But I want to make sure that we understand the process that he's talking about. That means it is gone to the planning board, it is coming to you, and then you are going to ask for a site plan as part of that. And what he's saying is that then that means the applicant's going to table it, and they're going to have to go to
Bring it
their
back.
engineer to get that site plan done and then bring it back. So you also often have times where people have complained about how long the process is, or if you have something that's urgent because of a sale, you are going to
right.
to postpone that if the planning board is not the one to ask for
Well, how
it.
many, I guess this is the question, how many times do you typically, on the front side of this process, anticipate, you know, opposition and/or situation where we would want maybe to know that information to satisfy opposition and/or, you know, to change from a straight to a conditional or whatever? I don't want to unfairly prolong the process, but is that something they would potentially know, I guess, if you have a public hearing or you have your first meeting with the planning board? Is that something then, I guess, at some point, you probably would know it for sure before we would, that might be something that's needed. Maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, at that point, it's a staff recommendation. I mean, I'm recommending that they do it, and they may want to take the chance and let you guys be the ones
Right.
that direct them that way. But, I mean, the one thing I would say, since we made the change, I think it's really worked good. I mean, yes, there's scenarios where maybe the site plan is needed, but big picture overall, it's not really causing an issue or a problem for us. I mean, that was a big change going
Now with
away
the
from
law
it.
change too, is even if they had to delay it, they can bring it back to the next meeting.
Right.
You know, if, you know, I
Right.
think that changed that process for them as well.
They could. So, I mean, yeah, if you guys really wanted a site plan, nowadays you could vote it down and say, well, you know, maybe if we knew the specifics of the site plan, and then it's up to them, they can turn around and resubmit it. And yes, it's gonna lengthen the process out, but it's not gonna lengthen it out like it used to, where it was
used
gonna
to, yeah.
take 6 months, a year, 2 years to be able to resubmit.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Todd.
Thank you.
Now brings us down to our administrative matters, and I'll turn it over to the county manager to go over those.
Thank you, Chair Conley. The first two items, item 8.1 and 8.2, those will be reserved for the 6 o'clock meeting. So beginning with item 8.3, this is a request from Finance for the approval of a 3-year lease of the building located at 203 South Meeting Street to the Iredell Arts Council. Ms. Caitlin Sparks is here to make this presentation to the board.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am here with a request from the Finance Department for the approval of a 3-year lease for the old jail. It is a long existing rental relationship that we've had. We just wanted to update the lease agreement and change a couple of things to make it in writing. And if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
We ever figure out when there was some problems there at that building with a couple different storage and tenants and stuff? Did you ever figure out what happened in that situation?
Yes, we have, and that equipment, whatever was stored there that is identified as theirs, they have reclaimed.
What is it, does their rent adequately cover the upkeep on that area where they're at as far as us being or are we just trying to break even since they're probably a nonprofit and stuff, or?
They are a nonprofit. We do provide that space for them because it's a benefit to have an arts council in your county. So
If I may.
Do I?
If I may.
Yes, absolutely.
It is a dollar lease that we have, and we do cover the utilities, but it is one of our most frequently visited nonprofits that we have. I know, for example, just this Thursday, they have an arts event that's going on downtown in addition to the tree lighting. And they are a part of the Full Bloom Festival that provides quite a bit of revenue for our local businesses as well.
And also one of the agreements that we have, because that is an older facility, it's the old jail. Of course, everybody is aware of that, but they have expressed some interest of possibly doing some renovations there. And if they do that, the agreement is that they would do fundraising for that, to do those renovations and improve that property, which of course would be improving property that's owned by Iredell County. But that is something that they've expressed an interest in doing, and maybe going out and raising some funds to make those improvements. So we would not be renovating or adding additional space, but they have expressed interest of doing that and raising the funds to do that. So we provide it for $1. We cover the utilities and we do maintenance for the facility, but we would not be doing renovations and upfits.
So you would have to approve the renovations and then they would have to seek funding for that?
Correct, yes.
Do we have consent?
Consent?
Consent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent.
Thank you. The next item is a request from the Purchasing Division to convey retired compactors from solid waste to another governmental entity, and Ms. Antonia Steins is here to make this presentation to the board.
Good afternoon. The Purchasing Division received a transfer from solid waste to retire 2 compactors into surplus. And Teddy Buller, the solid waste director, had reached out and said there was another entity that could use them, and they negotiated a price of $15,000 for both compactors. I did review it. It's kind of in line of what we would get if we sold them on Gov Deals. So coming to that conclusion that they're willing to purchase both of them for $15,000, we went ahead and have that. We have that for their continued use for their public, for their citizens. And this conveyance of personal property is covered under the North Carolina General Statute 160A-274. And as long as the board approves and signs the resolution, I'll be able to carry out the next steps to make sure that the transfer is complete and the receipt of the funds.
Any questions? Do we have consent?
Consent.
Thank you.
Consent.
Thank you. Item 8.5 is an item that we've removed from the agenda, so we'll bring that back to you the second meeting in December. So the final item under administrative matters is a request from administration to approve the minutes from the November 18th, 2025 Board of Commissioner meeting.
And do we have consent?
Consent.
That's all administrative matters. Brings us down to the announcement of vacancies occurring on boards and commissions, and the county manager will hit those right fast.
Absolutely, thank you. We have 6 appointments on the Adult Care Home Advisory Committee, 4 appointments on the Board of Health, 3 appointments on the Centralina Aging Advisory Committee, Region F, 1 appointment on the Mooresville Board of Adjustment, which is an ETJ representative, 6 appointments on the Nursing Home Advisory Committee, 1 alternate appointment, which is the Troutman Planning Board, which is also an ETJ member. Anyone that's interested in serving in any of these boards or commissions, you can find out more information on our website or contact our clerk to the board, and there's an application process, and you can receive either the application on our website or requesting it from our clerk to the board. I will say specifically on the 2 ETJ appointments for Mooresville Board of Adjustment and the Troutman Planning Board, we do have a map on our website under news stories that if you're curious, if you live in that ETJ, if you're interested in serving, you can pull up that news story and it has a map that will show you where the ETJ is located to see if you live in that area. And if you have questions, we can certainly check that for you.
Thank you. We do not have any appointments to any boards or commissions for tonight. Do we have any unfinished business at the 4 o'clock hour? Public comment period will be our next meeting, which will be December the 16th at 6 p.m. Any commissioner updates for the 4? Any new business at the 4? County manager's report, you got anything at the 4? You can wait to the 6?
No, sir, nothing to report.
Brings us down to closed session. We do have a closed session item this afternoon. It'll be personnel in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A6. Do we have a motion to enter into closed session after a 5-minute recess?
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Brown. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? We're in closed session following a 5-minute recess.
John, you gonna call me back at 6?
Yeah, I'll call you back.
All right, bye.